Why don't we begin with letting our panelists go ahead and introduce themselves and their firms. And maybe, Venk, I'll ask you to start, and then we'll just go down.
Oh, there you go. Okay. Hi, name is Venk Shukla, and I manage a micro VC fund which invests up to $1 million in B2B space, typically intersection of deep domain expertise and some insight about how technology can change that industry.
My name is Daniil Stolarov. I'm a partner at Almas Capital, an early-stage venture capital firm that looks to find stories that leverage engineering talent and entrepreneurial drive of Central and Eastern Europe, and to create companies that can be globally relevant.
I'm Steve Krause. I'm a partner at US Venture Partners. The firm is focused on early stage. That means primarily A's and B's. The firm has been around since the early 80s. We're just finishing up our 12th fund. Actually, our 11th fund. We just raised our 12th fund. And cybersecurity, enterprise SaaS and cloud, digital health, consumer after there's some traction, and we also do devices and biopharmaceuticals. And we're really focused primarily in the US and in Israel. Israel is mostly in the cybersecurity side.
Roman.
Okay, let me talk to it. Roman Simonov, Managing Director of Sigler-Gov. Sigler-Gov is $13 billion New York-based money manager, have different products. We focus on emerging markets. I'm partner in charge for technology, so I travel between Russia, Silicon Valley, and Asia. We have many companies here, but development teams are globally.
Hi, Guy Horowitz, Deutsche Telekom Capital Partners. Now we go by the acronym DTCP. We have spun out of Deutsche Telekom, which is a large German, European telecommunication provider. We manage around $1.7 billion in 3 vehicles, one of which being the venture investments, typically focusing on the later stages, growth stages of companies. And that's where I belong. We have 3 offices, Germany, here in Silicon Valley, and in Israel. We do have a private equity arm and an advisory arm as well. Our focus is, as I mentioned, later stages in the enterprise context. So we will be looking for transformational technologies that help enterprises kind of cross over to the 21st century, be it in cybersecurity, efficiency of different processes, and any enterprise-grade platform. That's it.
Yeah, hi, I'm Arti Chandana, and I am a partner at Silicon Valley Social Venture Fund. We invest in seed-level companies that have some form of impact. We invest mainly in the US, but the impact can be anywhere in the world. My personal interest is in technology for good, and that's the area that I focus in mainly. And again, it's all seed level and some Series A. Thanks.
Hi, I'm Anurag Chandra, and I'm with Fort Ross Ventures. Fort Ross Ventures primarily invests in the United States and in Israel, but we are willing to look more globally than that. We are a mid to late stage fund, and part of our mission is to help companies that are interested in accelerating their growth in the Eastern European markets. We invest in most spaces minus clean tech and life sciences, but we'll look at most business plans in the remainder. But our emphasis is in fintech, AI, machine learning, cloud, and security.
All right, thank you, Anurag. So again, a reminder to the audience that our theme for our discussion over the course of the next 15 to 20 minutes is human and society, social networks, privacy, education, fintech, and government. So some big themes, and we're going to try to stay at a 20,000-foot level. Before we start the conversation, just a quick poll of the audience. How many people here use Facebook or other social network? Well, not quite everybody. It's probably like 2/3 to 3/4, let's say. And who thinks that Facebook or others are doing a good job in protecting your data? Less, a lot less. Okay, we had at least one. Who thinks it's worth, sort of following the last panel, right? Who thinks that trading your data for using Facebook effectively for free is worth it? Nobody. All right. Well, I think Facebook needs to pivot. Finally, curious, just based on what the last panel talked about as well, is anyone here using one of the privacy apps that they were talking about? Handful. All right, good. Well, that'll set the stage for the discussion. And talking about Facebook, it certainly has been in the news a lot lately. And when you look at Facebook and all its components, whether it's WhatsApp and Instagram, certainly in a very, very powerful position. The co-founder of Facebook, Chris Hughes, has been out this past week saying that Facebook should be potentially broken up. It's too powerful. Mark Zuckerberg is too powerful. So question one to the panel, what is your opinion on Facebook? Is it too powerful? Should it be broken up?
Well, since someone's probably recording this, I'm going to be very careful in my comments with regard to taking a definitive position. What I would say is it certainly is a result of a very successful business model that no one initially anticipated would be used in quite the way that it's being used today. And with every company that I've ever been involved with, there comes those times when sometimes a business model might come at odds or at conflict. So with ethical standards, moral standards, considerations that they never looked at. So first of all, I don't want to assume bad intent or malintent initially. However, as we often see in businesses, one can assume that once you're in the business of making an extraordinary amount of money off of a certain business model, it's very difficult to give that up, and there is an amazing amount of inertia. But frankly, I think it does have to change. And the dilemma really is, frankly, what Denny was saying just to my left here, he said, does anybody really care? And that is what we have to figure out, is how much the users of Facebook understand, and oftentimes it's a group of individuals who have no appreciation for what kind of information they are giving up and what the value of that information is. So whether or not they care or not until something existential has happened in their lives that affects them economically or affects them personally, I'm not sure that there's going to be an organized attempt on the part of users to revolt. However, there certainly is going to be a response from government, I believe. And I think that to let that run open-ended without input from people who understand the technology and the ramifications that it's going to have on other kinds of companies that work in this space, I think is going to be something that we're going to regret if we don't actively get involved and try and in some affect legislation and affect regulation. And what I think it should start with is educating the companies and educating the users on what the concentric circles of relationships and trust need to be, and to try and set some rules and understanding of what is allowed as you go outward from an inner core of relationships, to distant people. And I don't think users quite understand that about 50% of online traffic right now are bots and bad guys. And that means that there's probably about 50% of the traffic out there that's looking at your stuff that you don't want them to be looking at you. And so we're going to have to figure out a way to educate people to understand that and then provide some sort of boundaries and get them to opt in and do it in ways that's very informed, where they understand the implications of it. So the answer is yes, changes have to happen.
So I tend to agree with you that most of the billions of Facebook users are unaware, but certainly from the very unscientific poll in this room, that this group is pretty unhappy with the way things are being done right now. Daniil, did you have anything to add to that?
Yeah, probably echo some of what Steve said, but I will be Stanislavski here. You guys said you're not happy with how Facebook is handling your privacy, and yet I think our actions as humans actually suggest otherwise. It is us who are putting an eavesdropping device in our kids' bedrooms. It is us who are willingly sharing location, for whatever convenience we see in the service. And empirical evidence suggests that people who tried to introduce sort of a privacy-centric alternative failed to do that. They created a product that no one used in any meaningful way. Remember Yellow, remember Mastodon, right? They're still there, they're finding their niche, but all of us as humanity are not embracing them. And as I was here on an earlier panel devoted to cybersecurity, and Spencer Tall said something that I think actually is very relevant for this discussion. 1984 Big Brother, it's not the government, it's a commercial enterprise, and we are willingly giving it up to that commercial enterprise. We're willingly doing that.
It's great. But maybe over to this side, are there other paradigms that we can go to other than the existing one? Roman, I don't know.
Look, either your product or your customer, right? If you don't pay for Facebook, you're the product. So if you are a product, you'll be sold to somebody. That's exactly what's happening. So should be Facebook broken up? Probably not. It should be punished to some extent and definitely regulated. So power of Facebook and power of Mark Zuckerberg, it's not the same, right? Facebook is powerful by network effect, and Mark Zuckerberg just structured his 60% special share vote, right? That could be regulated out, so he doesn't control it. History of companies being broken up in US, it's AT&T. Long time ago, it was Standard Oil, and that's pretty much it. Government ordered once to break up Microsoft, but that was successfully repealed. So there is not much history of that. Why can't they break the company? It's antitrust issues when consumers suffer, right? When monopoly power is extorted. But it's not, right? It's free. It's free. And if you break up on Instagram or on WhatsApp, they have competition, WeChat, Viber, Skype, whatever. So it definitely has to be regulated.
So it's interesting that you mentioned AT&T being broken up. Everyone is preoccupied and talks about Facebook a lot. There are several class actions, the latest one, I think last week, against carriers for having sold and consistently admitting to have sold consumer data to third parties. I think a lady by the name of Michelle Morrison in Baltimore is the latest person that has charged the carriers with this kind of behavior. But this is not new. It's been going on for 20 years. And save a few cases, like court cases, most of them were dismissed, no one has ever said anything. And carriers actually charge us a lot for the services that they render, they provide, and they still do that. So Facebook, they provide a free service. We can argue about the value of the service and whether it's worth our privacy or not. That's the currency we're paying. Carriers are taking a lot of our money and then doing that. I think that's even a bigger problem, but do they have an alternative? Is there a business case? Is there a sustainability for existing business models without using the data and selling it? It's a good question. I'm not sure that there are enough models and there's enough money to justify putting fiber in the ground and satellites in the air and some other of the means they're using.
Well, my take on it, I'm just going to tag on to this. So a lot of data is being sold, and how do telemarketers call us? If you go online, anything and everything about your life is known to almost everyone, and that's not coming from Facebook. That's coming from many other sources. Facebook is in the spotlight right now, and I do agree, and I do feel that they should do something much better than they are doing with data privacy. I think the default should be keeping your data private as opposed to not, which their default settings just automatically do not keep your data private. I think there should be strong guidelines around privacy. I am not sure whether it should be regulated like a utility and whether we need bureaucracy there. I'm not sure that it should, breaking up the company is going to help in any way, but something has to be done about data privacy, not just with Facebook, but in general, I feel we are losing the privacy that we used to have.
So I think, as everyone in the panel has already discussed, most people feel that somewhere between the death penalty of being broken up and some form of regulation, that's in Facebook's future. I just wanted to take a tangent because I think this audience and many of us in venture capital and tech, we're wildly optimistic and eternally optimistic people, and so we think technology is always good. So anytime you create something new, that's good. Anytime you create something new that the marketplace wants to buy, it's really good. And I think the real tale in Facebook is the complete lack of appreciation for some of the negative things that were happening in the platform early enough, and understanding that this isn't binary. Technology is good and technology is also bad. I was reminded by someone 15 years ago that, well, it's more than 15 years ago now, that the hijackers who flew the planes into the World Trade Center used the internet and used mobile communications for their dastardly deeds. So there will always be misapplications, and there will always be things inherent in these platforms that we don't think about. And I think the challenge is to start thinking about that beforehand. Otherwise, Facebook, you end up like a Facebook where you will be regulated, right? So if we can show some self-restraint, which is very hard, and be more thoughtful, maybe it slows down growth a little bit, but in the long run, it might have been a better path for Facebook.
Venk, I know you had a follow-up here.
Yeah, just building up on Anurag's point, you know, historically, Silicon Valley entrepreneurs have really focused on, you know, optimizing the bits and the bytes and the gigahertz and the algorithm to maximize revenue. And so in a way, Silicon Valley was certainly caught in the middle of this morality debate. And for the longest time, Facebook, as he said, hey, we are not responsible for the content. It's people who are putting it. It's just a platform. And I think this is sort of a learning moment for Silicon Valley. And the only technology I can think of that has factored in morality from the ground up is the autonomous driving. I mean, who do you kill? Do you kill this? If you have to choose, who do you kill? Is it the puppy or this old person, right? So that morality thing is only now coming into this. But thanks to GDPR, more and more companies now have to build that thing, you know, from the ground up. So I don't know. I mean, companies that have been built completely oblivious of this, I don't know how breaking up or regulating is ever going to help. It's not in the DNA.
So let's build on that with Steve and Daniil. I guess net, we talked both about, you know, sort of the complications around existing social networks and some of the problems that it can cause. Obviously, all the connectivity is great to be able to see what your family and college buddies are up to. Net are social networks positive for humanity, or is it actually allowing things to get worse in some ways?
Well, I think, at least my opinion and observation is that they're very positive in the sense that it allows people to communicate. It certainly allows information to be democratized, and it allows you to share experiences with others. But across the world, but it is not person-to-person experience. I think that we all have to be aware as technologists that to some extent technology and evolution are at odds with one another. We as human beings respond to each other personally as an interaction here very differently than if we were behind the anonymity of a social network. And I don't think that is entirely appreciated or captured in the way that these platforms are designed. And I think that it would be very interesting to find ways to capture some more of who we are as human beings in the way these networks are designed, and anticipate the fact that because our worst demons can be shown when we're anonymous, we should certainly build into some of these platforms an ability to moderate that or monetize or reduce that and flag that in a more effective way than it's done today. But I think that we have, catching up on sort of the human interaction or relationship side is so much slower than the technology side. I think that it's important, back to this ethics question, was, for the designers of these products and the boardroom and the CEOs to think about that. And one way, perhaps, is contrary to Silicon Valley, product management, iterate, 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 go faster, and break things. Maybe you want to slow down in the product development a little bit and think, when we're talking about human beings interacting with one another, maybe we want to do a little bit more testing first and analysis of how that's affecting the people that we're unleashing these brand new products on before we go global. And so I see concentric layers of relationships in some of the next generation networks, and the way the conversations are had and the moderation of those conversations in some more humane way as being important to developments. I wish a few companies would think about that a little bit more.
Any new technology can be weaponized, but that doesn't mean that technology is bad. I mean, for the longest time, planes were used to ferry passengers until somebody drove it into the World Trade Center. Trucks, somebody drove into the crowd and killed people, right? I mean, AK-47, same thing. It was meant for used in war, and people are using it to walk into churches and mosques and killing people. Idea is to regulate the behavior of those things that have a huge impact on the masses.
The question whether the phenomenon of Facebook is good or bad, I think the answer is clearly it's good, because the evidence is actually overwhelming. Our lives evolved around the use of social networks. Clearly, everybody's lives evolved around this. Our habits, how we work, how we study, how we interact, how we consume content, it all happened. For the first time in history, we have businesses with customers whose numbers are counted in billions. It never existed before in the history of humankind. Clearly, we all embrace that. What's next, right? Would that change? Is there something better? Is it coming? As someone said, we are techno-optimists. The answer is yes, there's always something better coming. It will come. Whether it'll be something, esoterical from, Ray Kurzweil's singularity world or something else, we don't know, but it's coming. And it may not necessarily be the Facebook that evolves to that next good thing. Again, history suggests that, companies are never forever, right? They get to a certain point and then someone else comes.
All right, moving along and trying to switch gears just a little bit with respect to, Steve mentioned regulation at some point, and directing this at Artie and Guy here in terms of should Facebook, what kind of regulation should happen? Should government play a role here? When you look at television and other social media, there's certainly some regulation there. Should it be applied to Facebook and other social networks as well?
I think it should be privacy regulation, not just anti-monopoly, but privacy regulations. And Europeans actually way ahead of US under GDPR. When they started, and I believe in Europe, I was amazed how many emails I received from all these companies that bombarded me by emails before, and I just deleted. Now they're asking permission actually to continue doing that. And that was easier way to unsubscribe. But I saw how many companies actually sending me garbage. I was really amazing, inventory just on one day before the deadline. All of them, like, very interesting. And then the whole issue about privacy, it's not just Facebook. It's also Airbnb, for example. You rent a house using Airbnb, and then some savvy landlord puts some cameras inside, right? And then they record you, and you don't know about it. They're doing it maybe for the reasons to argue who breaks that chair or that dish, but in reality, it's absolutely crazy, right? Or cameras on my neighbor's house that direct to my driveway. I don't want him to know when I come, who I come with, what time. So the whole thing has to be regulated.
When talking about regulation, I think we're neglecting the most important angle, and that's the consumer, the user. Regulation does not impact the consumer unless it's something that's easy for the consumers to consume or understand. And the problem with EULAs and disclaimers and all sorts of kind of very long legal language, which is the result of regulation typically, is that people just click on because they can't read the thing. Think education, so educating the consumer about the risks and what precautions they can take, and putting it out in a very clear, easy to understand language for people to take their own decisions as to how their data is going to be used and whether they want to put it out or not, is actually as important, if not more important, than trying to take legal action or other action after the fact. And so far, I think what regulation has done, and I think GDPR is a great example for lots of legal language, a lot of money going into consultancies and legal work that is not going to impact the end result for the consumer.
Yeah, so it's not, social media is not a utility that can be easily regulated. We don't want another new group of social media attorneys showing up here. The data privacy should be regulated, in my opinion, but the rest of it, I don't understand how it would be easy to regulate something that's truly global. You may be able to regulate something for an area you have power over, but how do you regulate, something that's global? Social media today, it's really like the old days town hall meetings. You now have a global meeting on a social platform. You can do various things that you could never do before with social media networks, so regulation is going to be very different than trying to regulate things that have been regulated in the past. So I think privacy, for me at least, privacy regulation is key more than anything else.
So I think we'll take the time to hit two other areas. We've covered social networks quite well here, but with the remaining time, and we don't have much, Anurag, I wanted to ask you about the fintech angle of this panel, which is around the super apps that China has developed, things like WeChat. Will the US and Europe move in a similar direction? Will we see WhatsApp potentially become a super app for payments? What's your view from a fintech perspective?
Well, it's an interesting question. Never say never, but I think the dynamics in Europe and the U.S. are different than in China. In China, there's a lot of either implicit or explicit help from the government that has helped create the 4 or 5 major properties, and an ability for there to be enough competition may not exist. I'll say it that way, the way it does in European and U.S. markets. So their ability to become platform hubs and then conglomerates is easier. So there's more friction I'd say there's the most friction in Europe, second most in the United States. So it's possible. I think WhatsApp is fantastic. I think that was a brilliant acquisition. I was staggered by the price tag when it happened. I thought the first investment in Facebook by Excel was excessively high, so I've just consistently been wrong about Facebook and its growth. But they're trying, and they have yet to succeed, and I think it's because there's several options, and we're not conditioned to think of all of our activity, including our offline and online commerce, as taking place in our social media environment. And after a while, you start to develop a brand or kind of a relationship with your users, and it can be costly to change that. So I don't see it happening, but I'd say never say never, but I think there's some really good fintech solutions. It's very expensive to launch a payment platform. I mean, don't get me wrong, but I also don't think we should count out the big laggard banks yet either. I think they're slowly getting their act together as well.
I think it's funny, on the one hand, we're talking about breaking up Facebook, on the other, we're talking about a platform owned by Facebook as being the potential next generation digital bank. And by the way, I think neither is going to happen. I mean, probably Facebook is not going to lose its effect or impact on consumers regardless of whichever action gets taken. And on the flip side, not enough people have a big enough problem right now with the way their digital banking is chugging along to actually adopt a behavior that's really weird or bizarre. It worked in Asia because there was basically nothing else. Those platforms evolved as the one place to do everything. We don't have that kind of problem. Our digital life is fine right now. Maybe we have too many apps. So potentially it's going to evolve in a different way, but unless I have a real problem right now, paying, getting paid, or transacting with, with my assets, I don't think it's going to happen very soon here in the US.
That's right. I think the user experience is going to have to be something profound that we're not getting right now.
And that's why, US will be following, not leading, right? It used to be technology starts from Silicon Valley, goes to Europe, Europe to China, China to Indonesia, then to Africa, right? Now actually goes the other way, and we saw it with micromobility, with bikes, with scooters, and with payments. WeChat Pay, Alipay, it's coming the other way. So they lead innovation. Chinese is very good at business models and doing like 3-in-1. Their Yoku, it's like Netflix, Hulu, and YouTube combined, and Meituan, 3 companies combined. So e-commerce, Alibaba did together with payments, and it sticks. And in US, it's later, right? They don't have that much problem. But young generation, when I was growing up, right, I had like bank account, then I got mobile phone, right? My son got mobile phone way before he got bank account. So this young generation will demand different forms of payments, and it's going to happen. And Telegram introducing now payments very soon. So WhatsApp will have to react, and it will happen. And especially when there are more and more business applications are done around WhatsApp, like it's done around WeChat in China. And that will definitely happen.
Well, it'll be interesting to see how it plays out in emerging markets rather than Europe and US. But we are out of time, so we have some entrepreneurs anxiously waiting to pitch you guys now. So please join me in thanking the panelists for their thoughts on this topic.
Well, thank you to Andy. Thank you so much. All right, guys, for this first round, you just have to smile and look good. You have no judging to do. We're going to have 6 now, 1-minute pitches. Some are from the Peru delegation that was here yesterday. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to call out your names. Make sure you're standing on the side because we want to do this as fast as possible. So Jan, Bilal, Ranjit, Nadia, Raul, and Jamie, please stand over there. And when I call your name up, come up. So Jan's going to come up first. Excellent. Let's give Jan a hand, please. All right.
Hello, everybody. It's great to be here. So we are Educally, and we catering for international students, connecting them with education providers, specifically for English colleges. There's about 1 million students studying at the moment in the United States, and about 2.5 million studying worldwide. All these people, they're coming with the same questions. Where should I study? What's the best course? Where should I live? How much does it cost? And can I get a visa? How can I get a visa? Maybe some of you have the same experience. In 15 years working in the industry, I've realized that there's a big gap to fill in. So we created our platform where we actually connect these people with education providers. They can search, they can find out about their prices, and they can enroll through the platform. They can also talk to people they're already studying abroad. They can get their feedback, their experience, and information about anything that they need to know. We have a fully functional platform. We are scalable to different countries and to different levels of education, and we are looking for seed funding at the moment. Our aim is to become a main provider for international education. Thank you very much. We are
well done. Super. Good job. And Bilal, come on up next. And your 60 seconds starts right now.
So who here thinks that managing their online data privacy is easy? Okay, exactly. Like you, many of the small and medium businesses have the same problem, but multiplied. Implementing online data privacy operation is difficult and requires expertise that is hard to come by nowadays. That's why we created the Scooby Privacy Network. Our mission is to create tools and services that help individuals as well as companies to protect the privacy better. And by using Scooby, companies have certain operational advantages. One, they improve their compliance through following best practices. Two, they have improved security through improved tested platform. 3, they reduce costs through automation, AI, and blockchain. And 3, they get an overall better user experience because users have central data management as well as a proactive problem resolution tool for the company. We welcome any feedback. See us in the expo area.
Well done. Thank you so much. Ranjit, your 60 seconds starts right now.
Great. This will only take a minute. My name is Ranjit, and I'm a director at Wrist Limited, which is a Canadian finger biometric company. Right now, finger biometrics is limited to just ID and access. We want to make it better. Wrist has developed technology which allows for multiple authenticated access using Angular technology. Basically, the application is this. If you wanted to simply access a mobile banking app on your phone and you want to pay, you just change the angle of your finger on your biometric device on your phone and do that. Or if somebody wanted to force entry into your home and try to get in and rob you, you could easily have a silent alarm installed. Our technology is patented worldwide. It is adaptable to the sensors currently on the market, and it has anti-spoofing technology built in. So we're looking to work with investors who can help us grow quickly, fast, investors, strategic partners, and people just like all of you. Thank you.
Well done. Thank you so much. All right. Should we have Nadia up first, Raul up first? 45 seconds. All right. Come on up, Jamie. I do have to say that the Peruvian delegation, that gentleman over there and that gentleman, they're like proud daddies to these guys. They're giving them hugs. They got the cameras out. It's amazing to see all the love. All right, go for it. 45 seconds.
I am Raúl Tribeño from Counter, from Peru. Counter will create a new value stream and global consumption model by adapting cashback technology to the way we already love to shop today. Our platform seamlessly integrates thousands of online merchants, retailers, and charities from across the world. These merchants have already existing promotional programs from cashback. I'm sorry, I get confused. We have a social network where you can earn and share cashback with friends and charities around the world. We are integrated today with more than 2,000 offline merchants. So if you register today on Counter, you are going to be able to earn cashback, but also share it with your friends and donate to your selected charity. The best thing about this is that when your friends shop too, you are going to earn cashback, and you are going to increase your Counter too. Thank you.
Well done. All right, thank you. Nadia, come on up. 45 seconds starts now.
All right. Digital SPV will change angel investing forever and allow more of us to participate in and promote innovation and societal growth. Angel investment accounts for a higher ROI than most investments, but very few of us participate in this. And this is because of the high pain point of entry and very manual, tedious processes involving legal and accounting. Also, many of us don't want to keep our money tied up for 5 to 10 years. Digital SPV solves for these problems through automation and through secondary sales. For this reason, the COO of SoftBank judged us as the winner of the Miami Herald Startup Competition this month. Digital SPV will change angel investing forever, so stay tuned.
Well done. Super. Yeah. All right, go for it. 45 seconds.
I'm Jamie from Preventor. Financial industry spend billions of dollars today in KYC and anti-money laundering requirements, complying with by working by themselves, not in a collaborative network. Preventor is a financial identity solution focused on privacy, identity, and compliance. With Preventor, financial institutions and individuals will be integrated in one system, in one collaborated network, where they will be able to know their customer, know their business, customers, beneficial owners, and maintained by the end user. So with that, they will be in compliance with the GDPR. We already have some clients, and we are focused for seed investors. Thank you.
Well done. Super. Thank you. Okay, so here we go. Our final round of pitches. You guys ready to work? Okay, so in front of you, you've got your rubric for the investors up at the table. And again, if any of you in the crowd are investors, please come and sit at one of the white tables over here. We've got some pieces of paper for you to be also marking. The rest of you can join via bit.ly/SVOD and play along. These are our final pitches, I think, for the day. So first up, I want you to really, really celebrate this person because it is tough pitching. It is tough pitching if it's your first time pitching at a conference. It's even harder if it's the first time pitching in English at a conference. So I want you to really celebrate Maria as she comes up on stage.
Thank you. Thank you. Hello, I'm Maria Pakrovska. I'm an architect, teacher with 10 years experience and ArtClever founder. And I'd like to introduce you my company, ArtClever, an online arts education platform. And this project really based on my personal story, so let me share it first, please. I lost my parents very early. I grew up with my grandmother. I was getting art skills since I remember myself, but prestigious education was inaccessible for me. And however, I applied to the best architectural academy in Moscow, and I couldn't pay for myself there. And the only chance I had, go directly to the Minister of Education to ask for a scholarship. And I was lucky enough to get it. And I studied for 8 years. The industry has gone far from education, and I was out of my profession. And then I became to be a professor. And I prefer that time learn more practice and get some online classes, but it just didn't exist. So now, as an insider, I learned a lot about the education system, and I see what doesn't work well enough, and I dream to improve it. And this dream come true with ArtClever. So we provide the powerful, customized solution for our partners, educational institutions and companies, to share their online programs in the field of creative technologies and creative industries. So just let me show you.
ArtClever is a learning platform designed to make creative sciences practical learning accessible, exciting, and effective. ArtClever gives users and partners worldwide the solution to spend less and get more. Working in B2B2C model, we take care of everything. We select expert instructors and produce professional, beautiful HD courses to provide a high-quality, practical education. Users learn at any time, anywhere, and get teachers and fellow students' feedback without needing to use any other messenger or app. We give grants to users with disabilities, financial, and special needs. We do not charge any certificate fees. At the end, users get their own portfolio of works and become a part of a world-creative professional community.
Our dream is to improve the creative sciences practical education system. Visit artclever.com and experience the new educational ecosystem today.
So we are in a good company here, and there are official criteria for e-learning projects, and I try to show it clear that ArtClever have all of these functions in one project, and that each our competitor has alone. So, and here is other competitors we have in this field of providing e-learning. And it's a big players for sure. And our market really grows really fast, and we see like double jump by 2025, and our segment takes about over $100 billion is part of it. And we'll already work in Russian and English languages, and we are going to launch the platform in Chinese this year, and China is the most fast-growing e-learning market for now. Only with our personal funds, and only in 1 year, we already have this success. We have a revenue, we have paid users, we have paid partners, we have 30% of profit. And it's interesting that we almost don't spend nothing to attract users because we work with really famous instructors and universities, and they are really like public figures, and they already have really active and interested audience who become to be our users. And our audience grows really organically and naturally. So we already the partners, the only educational partners with these big and famous companies and universities in Russia, Spain, France, England, and United States. And also we're going to work with corporations in the field of creative industries and health services, because we also solve the problem of depression due to cultural isolation. Over 40% of our users learn with us because they just want to be involved in their culture. So we think it's really, it really works. They become to be really healthy. We have many good feedbacks. So for now, we work in these four actually different channels of commercialization, and it's direct sales, online and blended training formats, subscription, and we also like in a partnership with educational institutions and companies, and also we do corporate training. And B2B2C model is the model we're focused on the future.
You're gonna have to pause it there. We're gonna have to go to questions.
Right.
Good job, congrats on your first. Let's give her a hand.
Thank you.
Okay, we're gonna start with questions on the stage first. If any of you have a question, just wave at me. There's a microphone, and then we'll go to questions on the floor next. Yes.
What's the profile of your ideal customer?
Ideal customer profile. It's a good question. Most of them are taking like the second education, so second diploma with us, and it's the age from 20 to 65. Mostly it's 25, 35, and they have already just some profession in the different field and in different profession, not in arts, and they just dreaming to have another one in arts. Or it's the second part of our customers, like the same quantity. They learn with us because they want to apply in any universities in arts fields, in creative industry field, and they're preparing with us to apply there.
Yep, go for it.
Could you talk a little bit more about your go-to-market and the cost of customer acquisition, how you think about that?
Cost, do you mean?
To acquire customers, how you go to market, and then how you acquire your customers and what that cost is.
Right, as I said, we work, thank you, we work with universities, and mostly we work with their audience, so B2B2C, like we work with their students or just people who are involved in their audience. Or another part is like our instructors, they have their audience, and our audience grows organically, naturally. We don't spend any any expenses for ads and something like this. For our
Maria?
marketing is really like very organic for now.
We're gonna go to a question here, and then I'll come back on that side. Did you have a question?
It's a little bit on, so who pays you? Is that the student? Does the university pay anything?
Right, thank you. For now, it's the students from the university. It's universities, and it's like direct sales, so it's like customers and users who just came to our platform and saw our courses, and he likes it and he paid us. So it's just different channels we have for now, but B2B2C model is the model we're focusing on the future, and we see the big market there.
Did you have a question?
Yeah, in a lot of online educational solutions, content is what people try to differentiate with, the educational content. It was not clear from your presentation, is content something that you actually create?
Right.
Is this what you invest in? Is this your IP, or you just apply from leveraging someone else's content?
Thank you for this question. We're the platform. We have the production center also, and who lead students since the beginning of their training to the end. So with supporting and technical support and everything, communications. So we're like ready to use solution for universities who just really need to provide the online education, but it's really hard, it's expensive, and they have to hire more employees and to spend more expenses, and it's really hard for many, many universities. For example, in the United States, only 3% of art and design universities have online programs, and it's not because they don't want, it's just really hard to do it. And we would like to improve it just to help them to have more students and students to have more possibilities.
Any questions from the floor, from any of the investors here at the tables? Do you have a question? All right, final question.
Right. So when a student goes on your platform, do they get a
Just hold the mic really close to your mouth.
Do they get a degree or certification? What do they get at the end of it, when they're done with this? And what does that really mean? Okay. Is it recognized worldwide? Where is it recognized?
Right, thank you. All our courses are practical, and it's certificated for sure. And one kind of certificate, our clever certificate, it just means that you're already trained by some name, which is really important to be able to get some really important work you dream. And the second one kind of certificate is just institutions, university certificate, which already just like accredited and have some credits, and that's all. It's like official certificate by educational institutions.
Maria, I would have you longer, but I know that the red and the orange is blinding people here, so I'm going to have you leave the stage. Let's give her a hand.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
And please visit our expo and participate in our art masterclass, in my art masterclass, and code your own visual language today, right now. Thank you.
Perfect. Thank you. So most 15-year-olds, if they want to access a website, pull out their phone and do it in comfort. This gentleman grew up in a town of less than 20,000 people. He had to walk in the snow for 30 minutes to go to the post office, which was the only place that had an internet connection, not just to access a website, but to create websites. The next speaker is Sergey.
Hello, my name is Sergey, and I'm a founder of Community Pilot. Community. It's a huge topic these days. Everyone is trying to create community around their product or an idea. In fact, I myself got involved in the communities when my company developed SVOD mobile application 3 years ago. Since then, I discovered how amazingly powerful those communities can be. More than 20,000 people were influenced by SVOD over the years. And the most shocking fact that the data about all of those members is still stored in spreadsheets. Yes, Stas had to, sorry, I discovered the most sacred truth, scared secret. So the data about the members is stored among spreadsheets. Why? I asked Stas, I asked Anna, and other organizers. Turned out that the existing solutions are really not targeting them. They are not sales organization, and all the marketing solutions are too complex. So the nightmare that's going on before the conference, like dozens of spreadsheets flying around, I was part of it. I saw it firsthand. And the thing is that spreadsheets, I mean, nothing wrong with them. Spreadsheets are doing a great job. This is the tool that builds the civilization, but it's very painful to keep spreadsheets up to date. Hard to delegate the data, and the data is just leaking all around, like the emails, personal emails of the members. So we see it as a unique entry point to this market. We are developing a CRM solution that allows community managers to gather all the data in one place. With a click of a button, community manager can integrate with MailChimp, Eventbrite, and other platforms, and gather all the data that is scattered among those platforms into one single database. This allows them to understand the activity of their members and see who their members are, what their interests. Using our filtering systems, they can gather insights from this data and then be able to use these insights to create more targeted and individualized campaigns in MailChimp and Facebook. And we are piloting this month with 20 communities. We're planning to charge per seat. But the thing is, there is no really money in these communities. I mean, the professional communities, if you look at this, professional community event like SVOD are generating revenue, like from $20K to $1 million, but they hardly break even. So we were thinking, how can we extract this value from this revenue? We are developing a unique members application that is going to be not a replacement to Facebook or any existing communication platforms. Instead, it's going to provide unique values in combination with the data that we gather from members. And it's kind of like a private, not noisy place where it's safe to talk and exchange contacts and extract the value from the community as a member. So it gives a value to a community member. We are thinking about these values. There are a lot of them, but few of them are smart introductions. It's kind of LinkedIn, but let's say I know Stas is like very popular here. It's very hard to get a hold of him. I can ask somebody to introduce me to Stas. This person will be able to validate me, and then after that, introduce me to Stas. This is a community validation. Jobs board, it's much easier to get a job when you're part of the community, and of course, events. As I said before, communities, professional communities are making money. I mean, millions of them. And we are thinking to tap into this money. With all the data that we're gathering, we are going to start targeting next year sponsorship revenue, and also we're thinking about piloting members' ads. Essentially, as a member, I want to advertise. Right now, I don't have an ability to promote my product to this audience. We are right now piloting with SVOD. We developed a mobile app. It's a startup. It's an event. Later this year, we will be converting it into members app. We also have one conference in Amsterdam, also professional community. And we targeting to have, by the end of the year, 20 conferences. I will leave you with this thought. Imagine, if we can tap, and if we can gain love of the community managers, community leaders, what we can do through them, we can influence billions of people. Thank you.
Well done. All right, we're going to take some questions now. Who has a question? Go for it.
So the competitive landscape for your solution seems to be broader than just spreadsheets, right? There are companies already helping to manage events, conferences, networking. Could you talk a little bit about your competitive differentiation versus some more modern solutions?
I left these slides especially out for this question, so thanks. It's very fragmented right now. Based on my research and among the community builders in the different Facebook groups, most of them are still using spreadsheets or Airtable, for example. However, there are event management solutions and there are different solutions. Most of them are targeting enterprise and companies because this is where the money is. It's much easier to sell to those companies. So there are some, but it's very fragmented. Right now, there's no like leaders. There's no sales force for professional communities. We're focusing only on professional communities.
How do you deal with data privacy, and how are you pulling data from Eventbrite and other sources? Are they giving you the data, and how are you going to protect the data that you've gotten now?
So we're doing a pilot with SVOD. So Stas was able to go log into our application himself, click one button, and through authorization mechanism with Eventbrite, they are kind of giving us API to get the data from them. We always keep the data in fresh. There's no effort from any manager to do this. In terms of the privacy, I especially put it as a part of slogan what we do. It's a privacy-focused tools for community leaders, because this is like the first question everyone asks us. Like, are you going to steal our data? Are you going to show our members' data to other communities? This is so we kind of focus in. So how we deal with this is we will be doing like end-to-end encryption and stuff. We're not doing it today, but I see where we can do this kind of things with this solution.
So it's not encrypted today? There's
not yet. It's a pilot. I mean, we very rapid development right now, but that's going to be.
Question, yeah.
Yeah, it says you influence billions. How you at least capture something out of it?
As I said, so let's say...
Sponsorships will not take you far.
Sorry?
Sponsorship will not take you too far.
I do agree. So if you think about it, as I said, SVD is a big conference, but not as big. And there are communities that are scattered among the globes. They 50,000 of people annually in them. Imagine the data. So we basically make money from data. The sponsorship and members ads is just so obvious things, but we are going to make money from data. The knowledge that professional community store in the data, it doesn't exist on LinkedIn, it doesn't exist on Facebook. Maybe it will. Facebook doing the pivot now. They focusing on the groups very, this year. This is like huge change, but we are targeting the data.
So basically advertising?
Sorry?
Basically advertising?
That's what I think, advertising, but the challenge, everyone is fine with advertising. The challenge is that I don't want another community to advertise. I don't want advertisement that is, goes against my values and values of our community members. So what we're thinking is to provide advertisement through the validation of community members. Like as a member, I will advertise to other members if these members are fine with it.
Super. Sergey, that's all the time we have for now. Thank you so much. And let's give him a hand.
Thank you.
So before being a host of shows, I was an entrepreneur, and there were many things that kept me up at night. Possible backstabbing by my co-founders, cash flow problems, partnership deals I could fall apart, but never did I have the same situation that our next speaker has. She has a problem staying up at night because of snoring. Not her own, but a cute little one-year-old French bulldog called Maximus. And if you look at the face of a bulldog, it's totally acceptable. A story that is completely useless, but we reach that time of the day where I have to do anything to keep your attention. But that story is true. Please put your hands together for Tatiana.
Thank you so much. Amazing introduction. Thank you. Hello, everyone. My name is Tatiana. Thank you. And I am introducing a gamification company that changes the way people learn programs and software. Our first product is the game to learn Microsoft Excel, and we call it Hotkey Excellence. I would ask you to raise your hand if you have ever used Excel, please. Wow, we can do that. We are the champions. Good job, guys. Thank you so much. So I'm a much better businesswoman than a singer, by the way. So yeah, like 90% of the audience raised their hand. It's huge. That's not the slide. So there are 750 million Excel users worldwide, which makes it the third largest population in the world right after China and India. $8 billion spent on Excel learning only in the US. So our first game, has a huge market potential. I came up with the idea when I was teaching Excel and financial modeling classes at the largest global companies, such as Goldman Sachs, McKinsey, BCG, and so on. After the class, people would come to me and say, the class was great, but how can I remember all these skills and Excel shortcuts and formulas? Where can I build my muscle memory? And I didn't have a good answer for them until I opened my startup. So people barely utilize 10% of Excel capacity, which leads to a huge waste of time in Excel. Over 35 billion hours a year wasted on the spreadsheets, which leads to a huge waste for businesses. Our solution is the first one to focus on efficiency. We teach mouse-free blind typing in Excel so people can fly on the spreadsheets. So Hotkey Excellence is a game to master Microsoft Excel. We mostly focus on B2B clients. Let me show you a short demo of how it works and why it's the best solution for your company. It's less expensive and easily scalable. It provides a clear performance measurement for each employee, and it's more efficient and engaging. Hotkey Excellence uses mouse-free game-style lessons where employees collect the keys that represent their achievements. And there is a competition chart for employees to compete to show who would be the hotkey excellence. A company gets clear statistics, topic by topic, for each employee performance and level of Excel skills. No more boring books and long video courses. Employees learn Excel by playing and having fun. They become much faster and more proficient in Excel, which means they can accomplish more in a shorter period of time. So let's talk about competition now. There is no direct competitors, only traditional classroom and video training. And our solution is much better in many different ways we just discussed in the demo, and it's more fun. We had a good traction for our first year. Our product is ready and polished and already tested at several banks and universities. It's web version suitable for both Mac and PC users. Our intellectual property is in place. We have over 2,000 clients using our product, and 15% of those people already purchased our full version. And we have 96% satisfaction rate from our clients. People have great things to say on how Hotkey Excellence is a fun and time-saving tool for them, and how it increases efficiency of their employees by 4 or 5 times in average. Let's take a look at the market potential now. There are 23,000 companies in our target markets. Only with 5% of penetration, we already can reach over $1 billion in revenue. And it's a conservative valuation. Gamification is a strong business trend in business nowadays. We enter $5.5 billion market, which grows each year by 13%. Here's an example of some multi-million-dollar acquisitions that happened last year, for example. We have a strong management team in place with over 20 years of related combined experience and a great advisory board. And we are raising $500,000 to increase our sales via sales and marketing and gaining new partners and B2B clients. And after that, we are ready to introduce new games, such as game for Python, to learn Python, Photoshop, PowerPoint, and so on and so forth. So Excel game is just the beginning. We change the way people learn hard skills. And we invite you on board with us. Thank you.
Excellent stuff. Well done. All right. Questions? Wonderful people on stage. Yes.
So how do customers find you?
You know, we have a good inbound marketing. Actually, clients already start coming from our website, although the company is new. We also have some training companies which we partner with, and they already have an established network of companies, and through them we also make several sales.
So who's the buyer in the company, and how do you find them, and what are the markets that, how do you get to them?
The main person is HR, of course, responsible for employees' development. And as I mentioned right now, it's basically internet and our partners training companies. We also reach companies, you know, straight there. And also, I was as I mentioned, I was a trainer, so I know people from the companies, and I talk about, and I still provide Excel training and include my game now to, you know, to make it known in the world.
That's interesting. I would have thought that you might want to target business units and more functional leaders in an organization because their need is so much greater. Do you think about that rather than the broader HR? Just go right to the guy who has a lot, or gal has a whole lot of urgent needs?
Of course. It's probably more difficult to do for me because my connections is in HR. But I'm here looking for the partners who might help me with that. Thank you.
On this side?
So do you have any IP on this product? And
yes,
then also, what's your, is it a subscription-based model? Is it
yes, it's a SaaS subscription-based model. And we do have intellectual property in place. Trademark is and copyright's approved. And patent is pending right now.
Quick question on your business model. You mentioned could be a subscription service. Do you imagine that users, once they get proficient in using Excel, will go on using the product? Will they use other products?
That's a great question. And the answer to that when you actually learn skills and then don't use it for a while, but then need it after maybe half a year, and you remember, oh, I saw it at Hotkey Excellence, you go back and refresh your memory, and I do that all the time. Am I answering your question?
Yeah, kind of. Maybe a question on your additional product. So will a customer be using more than just Excel? Will your next products be geared at the same users?
Great question. So our next products will target B2B market, mostly because the money is there. And, but it might be different types of companies. It might be designing companies for Photoshop games. It might be data science, gamification for other companies.
A quick question here.
Final question, go for it.
I have an unnatural love of Excel, probably the function of my past from investment banking. By the way, if you're not selling to Wall Street boot camps, you absolutely should.
I'm right there, exactly.
But it's a great invention of Excel. I think it's worthy of a Nobel Prize, but I'll stop on that. My question is as follows. How much time did it take you to create something for Excel, and how quickly it is to scale and apply to, let's say, Photoshop or a Python EDA tool or whatever? How fast you can replicate this, and how much of additional work does that require?
It's much easier now when we already learned from our mistakes. We have a team formed, of IT professionals with the skills that are proven already. So it's easier now for us. And if I give you an estimation, we can create a game within 6-7 months.
Great. All right, Tatiana, thank you so much. Well done. Let's give her a hand. All right, by the way, before I introduce the next person, if you're Alex and you are pitching next, please come to that corner right away so we can get you mic'd up. All right, excellent. Our next speaker, next pitcher, has created a 3-player backgammon, and he also made jewelry for poker players. So quite eclectic background. Please put your hands together for Jonathan.
Hi. Hi, I'm Johnny, founder of Octopon. We're a smart coupon platform giving businesses superpowers. We all know Amazon is pushing businesses to the brink, online and off. And even businesses that realize that 96% of consumers use coupons, and so should they, they're lacking the tools the big players have. So they turn to Groupon and daily deals, who shred their margins and make them lose way more than they gain. Octopon is giving businesses and agencies the power and control to fight back. Octopon is a business-friendly, full-cycle coupon solution powered by machine learning. We enable businesses and agencies to create any type of coupon, spread them across social, mobile, and websites, and redeem them anywhere and in any way. But this is just the tip of the iceberg. Underneath the surface, we capture the nearly flawless data of the coupon cycle, creating the world's first coupon brain. Not only cookies, clicks, and views, but full data of both sides and actual sign-ups, purchases, redemptions, and even profits. Creating a true machine learning, allowing us to optimize coupon pages, discounts, and distribution automatically. Eventually creating a smart black box where businesses can set their budget and goals and get back more money than they put in. Since our soft launch, we had more than 15,000 businesses join, more than 6,000 coupons launched, and we are working on 3 huge POCs with agencies and publisher partners. The global digital coupon market is set to reach $700 billion by 2020, And we're in the crossroad of 3 huge markets: SMBs, online sellers, and agencies. All are actively seeking solutions to increase their reach and revenues. We have 4 main revenue streams: prepaid commissions, subscriptions, printing, and white label partners. While there are many players in this field, our competitive edge is our ML-first approach per business, per partner, and democratizing coupons. The demand shows that none of our competitors is winning this market. Our team is made up of technical, business, and marketing vets, and we have a very big stealth partner for the ML modeling. We're seeking $2 million for our seed round and to help us reach $1 million in ARR and to launch our AI ML layer. E-commerce and digital coupons are on the rise. E-coupons redemption is set to reach $81 billion by 2021. Daily deal sites, despite their popularity, are dying a slow, painful death, realizing their model isn't sustainable. With the demand for online deals and the need to fight Amazon, the market is ready for a new model and for us, for Octopon. Octopon is on it. Octopon, bring everyone the power of coupons. Thank you.
All right, Jonathan. Well done. Okay, let's take some questions. And again, if there's questions from the floor, just let me know as well. But yeah, we'll start with you.
Could you put a finger on why all those other coupon platforms are losing money per transaction and you will be making money per transaction? And how is that edge sustainable?
Okay, so first, not all of them are losing money per transaction. But as a whole, the business model of a central website where people offer certain deals, usually huge deals, they actually lose 3 times, the businesses. They lose on the commissions and on the huge discounts, and then they lose because they could have given the services or the product to a different client, to a better client, and third, they affect their brand. With us, because we are not centralized, and because we give the control to the business, so for example, they can create a coupon for the 30% on the 3rd roll of sushi this Friday after 9 for the first 10 people, they can and distribute it wherever they want, directly to their clients. They can keep the profits and also bring new clients.
So what prevents other platforms from adopting the same approach?
So if you look at the market, there are companies like Groupon and Daily Deals that are centralized, and the whole brand is towards the end clients, giving huge discounts, a lot of them for a short period of time, and they actually tried more specialized deals and stuff like that, but nobody looked at them because the whole brand is for the big discounts. Okay.
No, just, sorry if I missed this. So who's the customer? Are you selling to small, medium businesses? Are you selling to marketing for large companies, ad agencies?
So our main focus is ad agencies, but we have about 30 to 50 new businesses joining daily, directly.
How are they learning about you?
Either by Google Ads, but more and more because of existing coupon pages and SEO and content marketing. But our main focus is agencies and white label partners.
Okay, thank you.
Any questions from the floor? Yes, over here. Can we get a mic to him, please?
What's your revenue?
So we already have initial revenues, not at 1 million ARR yet. We just recently changed from freemium to full cost, and we get already nice revenues.
How much is that?
Tens of thousands a month.
All right. Okay, thank you.
Okay, any other questions from the floor? If not, that is it. All right, thank you, Jonathan.
Thank you.
Go ahead. All right, and finally, our last pitch of the day. Hopefully he will rock the stage. No pun intended, given that he is a rock drummer. So please put your hands together for Alex.
Thank you. Thank you for the introduction. Hi, everybody. How are you? Thank you for staying for so long, waiting for my pitch. Sorry, I don't intend it to be last. My name is Alex, and I'm a founder of Socially. It is a marketing automation platform that helps companies to deliver their marketing communication through social networks. You might be thinking, what are you waiting for? Go ahead. Why are you wasting our time? Yes, we all value our time, because all we know that time is money. But salespeople know that in sales, time is even gold. And what if I can tell you that we can make 2 times more gold with existing resources? Bear with me. So what are your guesses? How much time do salespeople right now spend actually selling? What do you think? You know, just 1/3 of their time. 1/3. And what are they doing in the rest of their time? Well, actually, they are writing emails, they are entering data, they are scheduling meetings, do all the administrative tasks that can be easily automated. And while they are writing another email that will end up in your junk folder mail, there is another trend coming, social networks. Right now, not even every millennial has their email address. And how are you going to sell to them if they are all in social networks or in messengers? We saw a tremendous increase in social selling last year, and it's continuing to grow. So we thought that if we can save at least half of time that salespeople spend just dealing with people, communicating with them through social networks, we can do 2 times more money for companies with existing resources. So we came up with a solution that in short words can be described as MailChimp for LinkedIn. So yes, we are going to apply the same approach that has been used for email marketing for long years, but applied for social networks. So we are going to use the power of existing CRMs like HubSpot and Salesforce and integrate social networks deeply into these CRMs, allowing marketers and salespeople to do really sophisticated things with their clients like sending message sequences, automating communication workflows, using message templates, and extracting meaningful data from LinkedIn and other social networks. If we look at the market, there are more than 1 million people in sales in the United States only. And time of these people is really valuable. They can earn tens of thousands of dollars every hour. Why to spend these hours on just following up people and reminding them on the other activity? We want to double this tremendous $65 billion market. Right now, we already have our paying clients in the United States, the companies that really want to pay to solve this pain for them, because right now they are spending thousands of dollars every month dealing with customers through social networks, not having really efficient solution for that. This market is a bit crowded. Yes, we know that there are many companies doing social media automation, social media management, but our distinction is like this. We are in account-based marketing, so we are on a mission to deliver focused and precisely chosen marketing communication to direct clients for our companies. So we can help them to save much more money and do 2 times more in the existing resources. We're going to implement this. So it's me. I successfully created 2 companies, one of which were rated by Mashable as one of 20 hottest startups in Russia. And another one is a software development company, 30 employees plus in Russia, that helps us to create this product. So we don't have any problems with development resources. My co-founder has a profound experience working in big companies, and we've been working together for 8 years so far. So anyways, we are going to make 2 times more money with existing resources. If you are interested in it, please join us on our journey. Thank you for your time. I really appreciate it, and I'm very open to talk to you.
All right, we'll start with questions from the stage.
Tell us about your business model. Business model.
Our business model is a monthly subscription, so our goal is to be kind of one of the app for Salesforce, like AppExchange or HubSpot app, and use this marketplace in order to deliver our application and services. So it's monthly subscription.
Are you using open APIs with you know, LinkedIn and all of the other applications that you work with?
Sometimes we use open API, which existing right now, but sometimes we also do browser automation like scraping in order to deal with systems like LinkedIn. Yeah, they are not really open to offer to public their API working with messaging and all these things. So yeah, we are doing this.
What's the largest organization you've tried the product out in so far, and what was the experience there?
The largest organization, what?
The largest organization where you have baited the product so far to get the experience. Have you had a
do you mean among our clients?
Yeah.
Well, actually, right now we mostly work with the startups because we found out that this solution really good to enter in new markets. And startups all the time they enter new markets. You know, like small companies try to innovate in huge markets. So they are startups, maybe up to 100 people.
The only reason I'm asking the question, there's a lot of companies in this space, so I wanted to know if you'd broken through out of the very, very small startup.
Yeah, right now we are focused on SMB.
Sure. Tough market.
Thank you for your question.
Got a question down here?
Yeah, so I've had managed lots of salespeople in my past, and I would love them to have more time to sell, but they also have to follow up with emails and fill out Salesforce, as you pointed out. How does your product, but when I have them follow up with emails and fill out their CRM information, I want it done in a thoughtful way. It has to be a thoughtful reply to the customer. It has to be a very well thought out input of information into CRM. How does your product do that?
Do you mean how does the product enters information into CRM?
Yeah, not just enter any information, but the correct information with the right, you know, spin on probability of sale, on issues. There's a lot of work that is not sales, but has to be done by salespeople.
Well, actually, so far we are not dealing with this kind of prospecting so much. Like you are talking mostly about prospecting, how to find companies, how to find the right people. Right now we are mostly focused on delivering right messages to the people, and later on we'll be working on prospecting more. So we are going to extract meaningful data from the social networks, use AI in order to get this information about whether it's a qualified leads or not qualified leads. Should we spend time working with them or not? So it's for later stages. We are too early. Thank you for the question.
Okay, if there's no further questions, thank you so much. Well done.
Thank you. Thanks a lot.
Yeah.
Appreciate it.